All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Blind Spot, where we talk with blind athletes reaching excellence, as always brought to you by the United States Association of Blind Athletes. Whew, guys, we're double dipping this week. We had Mr. Tyler Marin on Tuesday, and I'm super pumped and excited for our next guest here. But just a couple of little quick housekeeping items, guys. As always, keep an eye on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're putting out tons and tons of content as we get closer and closer to the Paralympics. As you guys have doubtlessly heard me talk about before, this is our 45th year of existence for USABA. 45 years of helping blind and visually impaired individuals find their way through sport, physical activity, recreation, all that amazing stuff, you guys. But you guys don't want to hear me blabber on and on and on. Let's get to our guest today. This will be his third Paralympic Games, three-time Paralympian. I know he's got at least one medal. And we were chatting a little bit before. And man, he's getting me all fired up. I'm so jazzed, ready to run through a wall. Because this guy is just so full of energy. I want to welcome Mr. Daryl Walker to the Blind Spot. Daryl, welcome aboard, man. How's it going?
Oh, it's going fantastic, man. Just loving life right now, man. Thank you so much for the invite to be on the Blind Spot.
Absolutely, man. Hey, this will be your third Paralympic Games, but let's go back to the very beginning. Just tell us a little bit about your eye condition and what it was like growing up, and what brought you to the sport of goalball.
Well, I'm gonna go way back. So back then, growing up in Jacksonville, Florida, when I was a kid, obviously I learned about my eye condition and stuff due to my albinism, which is like lack of pigmentation in my skin, lack of pigmentation in my eyes, and started to notice that, I couldn't see that well. I wasn't able to read small print. I wasn't able to see as far as all my friends and even my siblings and parents and stuff like that. And it was a bit discouraging because I was just trying to figure out where my place was in life as a kid and stuff. But like a typical kid, I just kind of like brushed it off and was like, whatever, we all have something. So let's just move on. So I just kind of, as a kid, loving sports. It could be anything: basketball, football, dodgeball, kickball, laser tag, hide and go seek. Didn't matter what it was. I did it. I was a fan of it and stuff. And obviously I couldn't do as well, primarily just because I couldn't see that well. But I wasn't going to allow that to stop me. I did Little League baseball, and that was very difficult because I couldn't see the baseball. So they had to put it on the little tee and stuff like that for me to hit it and stuff like that. And they allowed me to run the bases and stuff like that, which was cool. But it was still one of those things where I'm like, if I'm gonna play a sport, I don't want people to treat me like that. I want to be able to be on the same level with everybody else to some extent.
For sure.
As time went on through elementary school and middle school, I was still just excelling in basketball, excelling in football, stuff like that. And from a physical, mental, and emotional standpoint, I was able to do it, but it was always my vision that hindered my physical ability to some extent from excelling to the highest level that I wanted to achieve. Because as a kid, I had hopes of one day being in the NBA, the National Basketball Association. I wanted to be. I grew up watching Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, Shawn Kemp, Reggie Miller, Penny Hardaway, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant. I mean, the list goes on and on and on that I admire. And I wanted to be a professional basketball player. But then in 7th grade, I actually attended the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. But before that, I actually attended public schools in the Jacksonville area that helped me with vision teachers to help me do well academically to the best of my ability with my low vision.
For sure.
Certain subjects I excelled. Obviously, my two favorite, times of the day was PE and recess. So it was my way of de-stressing, you know what I'm saying? It was my way of actually saying, I may not be good in the classroom. I may not be good to seeing the chalkboard from far away in the back of the room like all you other kids can. But when it came to dodgeball, I was the king. When it came to dodgeball, I was the king. And they all knew it. They all knew it. They kind of made fun of me, like, oh, look at this guy looking so close in his book, man. Like, it's just so funny. It's like, yeah, it wasn't funny when we were out there on that field playing kickball no more. If they were on the opposite team, it was going to be a sad hour for them. So, but it's okay. You live and learn, you grow from it and everything. But then in 7th grade, 1996, I attended the floor school for deaf and blind, which is in St. Augustine. When I was there, I got introduced to the sport of goalball. And I must say, like, when I first saw goalball, I have to admit, I thought it was the most ridiculous, silliest sport that I've ever seen. In my mind, I'm sitting there going like, who in their right mind would actually dive on a hard wooden court? Just dive on the court. So you're already attacking the court with your body. You're hitting the court. You're slamming your body into the court, and you're trying to stop this hard round-shaped ball that only weighs 3 pounds, but it's hard on the outside. You're taking hits from that ball. So first you're attacking your body on the court, destroying your body on the court by laying on it or diving on it. Then you're getting hit by this ball, and you're doing all this with a blindfold on, so you don't even see it come at you. And I'm like, no, that does not seem fun to me at all. I'm not doing that. No way. So I move on from that, and I'm like, okay, I still want to do basketball. I got into cross country. I got into track. I want to do that. But then it took until my senior year in high school, after playing 4 years of basketball, to me to realize something that I was in sheer denial about. I was like, man, I seriously have low vision. And how did I come to this conclusion? I'm glad you asked. How did I come to this conclusion?
Yeah.
I came to this conclusion by one day I was playing in a basketball game by the floor school for the deaf and blind. And I was defending a particular person, just playing defense on the court. And all of a sudden, I guess it was a blindside pick. And you're telling me it was a blindside pick with my vision and everything and stuff. I ended up running into this guy, and he flew.
Oh, no.
Hit the ground, face first, didn't move for like 30 seconds. And I'm just sitting there like, I shouldn't play basketball, man. This is not safe for me. This is clearly not safe for him, but it's not safe for anybody around me right now. So I shouldn't be doing this. So I gave it up. I just made it as a fun recreational activity, play some pool, shoot hoops with friends. That's it. The NBA dream is done. It was sad. It was emotional, cried a little bit, but I moved on. But then a friend of mine by the name of Eddie Monroe, who's a 4-time Paralympic athlete, 2-time Paralympic athlete in track and field, and 2-time Paralympic athlete in goalball, and also a fellow graduate of the floor school for the deaf and blind, class of 92. He was a teacher assistant at the school at the time. And he asked me when I graduated in 2001, he's like, hey man, I'm looking to get back into goalball. I want to make the Paralympic team and stuff, whatever. Would you like to start a Florida men's team? And I was like, first I was like, they have goalball for like adults? Okay. I thought it was just a high school thing or a PE thing or whatever. I didn't even know. I didn't even know it was a Paralympic thing. I didn't even know what the Paralympics was. So I was like, sure, why not? I ain't got nothing going on. I didn't have any college plans, job plans. Let's see where this goes.
Sure.
Did it for 2 years. Trained, did well. And then the assistant coach of the USA men's team who happened to be the Florida coach for us as well. And also he used to work at FSDB by the name of Tom Perigin. He was our woodshop teacher. He was also our boys head coach of the Goalball team. And then, like I said, the assistant coach of the USA men's team. He asked me, he's like, hey, we're going to have a 15-man open tryout camp for the USA men's Goalball team. Would you be interested in attending? It's going to be in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we'll pay for your fly. We'll pay for your room and board. All you got to do is show up. And I was like, all right. I mean, it's a free trip to Colorado.
Sure.
Why not?
Sure.
I get there. I'm thinking like 15 people. I'm probably going to be like 14, 15 on the list. Not that good. So we'll just kind of see.
Yeah.
Man, within about an hour of being there, I was like, nah, I'm not number 15. I'm like number 8.
Oh.
You know, I'm outplaying half of these guys and stuff like that. I get back home after the fun experience, learned a lot, grew from it, trained harder. 5 months later, I ended up making the USA men's national team, attended the international tournament in Lithuania, which was the first time I've ever been out of the country in my entire life. Didn't know where Lithuania was, but didn't matter. I was going out of the country. I was going to be wearing a USA jersey representing the United States of America. And I was just kind of like, yo, this is dope. I like this. So,
that is awesome.
And from that point on, it just kept growing, kept building. And I must say, man, just looking back at playing goalball, I always wondered when I played goalball, why I was so confident in playing goalball than any other sport. And I figured it out. It took me about, I don't know, like I think it was like 5 or 10 years later, and all of a sudden just hit me. I was like, there's 2 things that helps me in this situation. One, I would always play a lot of outdoor activities, so I had to wear sunscreen.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Goalball's indoors. Don't got to worry about doing that.
Yep.
2, this is the most important one. The thing that would always hinder me from my ability or stop me from reaching my highest plateau in basketball was because my eyes were light sensitive, which means I squint a lot. If it's super bright above, that's going to hurt my eyes.
Right.
The glare off of the court is going to hurt my eyes. Then I start seeing doubles and all these different things. But in goalball, as you know, you're wearing darked out eye shades over your eyes. So all of a sudden, my photophobia in goalball doesn't exist. It's gone. It is temporarily gone. So the one thing that just totally demoralized my physicality of playing basketball, football, or anything else doesn't exist in the game that I thought was the most silliest sport ever.
Man, dude, that's quite a journey. I mean, I'm sitting here. I'm mesmerized. I mean, you go from thinking, this is one silly sport, and and look, we could honestly talk about, we could say that any sport is silly. I mean, I compete in triathlon. I mean, who the heck wants to swim and bike and run?
Right. Right.
I mean, it is kind of silly, the kind of stuff that we do, but it's so amazing to see, the transformation from going to, this is just silly or dumb to, now you're you're pulling that Team USA jersey on. You're going on 20 years of playing this sport at a super high competitive level. This could be your 3rd Paralympic Games. I mean, that's a crazy journey, man.
It's one of those situations in my life, as a believer in God and stuff like that. It's one of those scenarios where you make a plan for yourself, and God's just up there like, oh, that's so cute that he thinks he's gonna do that. No, he has no idea. No, that's not what he's gonna be getting into. He thinks goalball silly, and it's like, oh, he has no idea he's gonna be a 3-time Paralympic athlete, traveling the world with this sport, being a spokesman of this sport, looking to one day coach in this sport. He's so funny.
I love it, man. I love it. So I mean, so you grew up in Florida, grew up in Jacksonville. That's something that we share. I grew up in Jacksonville as well. We're both pretty familiar with that Northeast Florida, region. But where do you currently, live and train?
Currently, I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then you want to talk about how the life of getting in the goalball and how long I've been playing it has been weird. Mm-hmm. Man, when they said there was a residency program we were going to be starting for the USA men's and hopefully someday the USA women's team, which it has, program. I'm then thinking like it's going to be Colorado Springs, Colorado. Is it going to be in Lake Placid, New York? Is it going to be Birmingham, Alabama? Is it going to be somewhere else? They said Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I was like, "What? Fort Wayne, Indiana?"
It is kind of a random place.
I'm like, okay, sure. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. So I'll buy my flight. I travel out to Fort Wayne, probably one of the smallest airports I've ever seen. Not the smallest, but one of the smallest. Yep. Has 8 gates, but like I said, I've seen smaller. I've seen airports that has 4 or 2, but still. So I get off the plane and it still happens to this day, man. The most friendliest and random thing. It's one thing for us to go to Fort Wayne, Indiana. I get off the plane, and as I'm exiting the security area, they got like this little section with like a basket that has cookies in it. And it's complimentary cookies for anybody that comes into Fort Wayne International Airport.
Well, dude, wait, shut the front door, man. I mean, you get free cookies at Fort Wayne at the airport. Why have I not been told this before? I need to make a trip to Fort Wayne.
It was so random. I was like, okay, all right, we're getting somewhere and stuff, whatever. So I moved out there October 2015. We were staying at IPFW, which is a college here in town now called PFW and stuff. We were staying off-campus housing, about 5 minutes away from driving distance from Turnstone, and it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard work. We got with the Turnstone fitness staff, or who's at the time was our head trainer and is still now our head trainer, and also our high performance director, EJ Whitney. And he ran us through a lot of rigorous training, anything from heavy lifting to muscular endurance exercises, dynamic warm-ups, plyometric exercises, med ball exercises. I mean, even still to this day, I put on muscle like every single year from this man. And it benefited us, man, because we got out there, we trained out there, and it led to the USA men winning silver, and it led to the USA women winning bronze. But the craziest thing about us taking silver was that we literally went from 2008 taking 4th in Beijing, which was my first Paralympics. 2012, we didn't even qualify for the Paralympics. And then all of a sudden, 2016, just from 8 or 9 months of training at Turnstone in Fort Wayne, Indiana, we turn around and take silver at the Paralympics. I mean, that was wild. Yeah, that blew me away that we were able to do that. We ended up getting nominated as like best Paralympic team of 2016. We didn't win the award. The USA women's seated volleyball team won it, which rightfully so they should, with the journey that they've had to try to get to the gold medal and stuff like that.
For sure. It
was just an honor to actually be in that category with both them who took gold in Rio, USA men and women's wheelchair basketball who took gold at that Paralympics, and US rugby who took silver at that Paralympics. So just to be in that same category was like, wow.
That's some stacked company right there, man.
Yeah.
Whoo, man. So let's let's stay on that for a hot second. 2008 Beijing, your first games, you guys take fourth. 2012, you don't qualify. I mean, those are some pretty big disappointments and some for lack of a better term, failures. How did you want, or how did you find the desire to push past those and recommit yourself to take a shot at going to Rio, just you personally? And then what was the driving factor behind deciding to join the resident program in Fort Wayne?
For me, it was just one of those situations where I felt like, like at the time, like I was just working, at the time I was working at like Chick-fil-A in Jacksonville and stuff. It was an awesome job, shout outs to Chick-fil-A, Town Center, Jacksonville, Florida, Jeff Uzi, the owner of that establishment and everything. Those are fantastic people. They allowed me to train as often as I wanted to train, leave the 10 tournaments and training camps as often as I would like to. But it also helped that I did my job in the right kind of way. Yeah. So when I left, they were pretty sad. I was sad too, but it was time to move on. I saw an opportunity. I've always wanted to be that professional athlete. So I was just kind of like, okay, man, like this is like collegiate kind of training. This is like professional level type of training. So even if this lasts 1 year, because we didn't know that it was going to go from where it was October 2015 to August of 2016 to being where it is right now. Yeah. We pretty much thought in our minds like, okay, this could be just 1 year of this and it can just be canceled, removed, done, go back to your normal lives. That's it. So I treated it like that. I treated it like the once in a lifetime opportunity to be a part of something great that I may never get the opportunity to be a part of ever again if I say no to it now. So I naturally was like, okay, Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've never been to any part of Indiana before. I've been to the states around Indiana, but I've never been to Indiana. So when I got there, it felt like home, man. It felt peaceful. Had a great time. I know my family did not want me to go. My nieces and nephews specifically did not want me to go. In fact, I almost didn't go, man. I never told a lot of people this. Like my nephew, his name's Angelo. He wasn't talking at the time. And the day I was going to leave, it was literally like 15 minutes before I was getting ready to walk out the door, my mom taking me to the airport. He decides that not only does he want to speak, but he wants to say the word uncle. And I was like, oh, perfect.
Oh,
wonderful.
Man.
Thank you for that guilt trip right there.
Oh,
nephew.
Oh,
come on, man. You couldn't say that like later and stuff like that. And then to make matters worse, I get to the airport. My nieces come with me too. And they're like, hey, uncle, we'll miss you. We put a gift in your bag. And I was like, what do you mean put a gift in my bag? It's like, it's in your bag. Just check it when you get to Indiana. So I get to Indiana, get to the dorms. I'm unpacking my bags. I totally forgot they put something in my bag. And it goes all the way to the bottom of my bag. It was the last thing I took out of my bag. It was a picture of all of my nieces and nephew together with me standing next to them that they drew. And it just said, we'll miss you, uncle. And I was like, oh, come on.
Wow.
Like, just when you think you don't know you're making a difference in people's lives and stuff, whether it be family, friends, whatever it may be. And then you just see it through something like that, something as sentimental as that. And you're just like, okay, I'm going to use this as my driving force. Every single day I train is going to be for my family, my friends, Chick-fil-A, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, everything that I was a part of back in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm training for them.
Oh, man. Daryl, tugging at the heartstrings, man. You're tugging at all of our heartstrings. What, man. Woo. But speaking of making impacts that you don't realize. We had a guest on a couple weeks back that you didn't recognize it at the time, or maybe you did, but you're now one of the grizzled veterans of this men's team, and one of your rookies. You kind of called it out, saying, "Hey man, you're gonna be a Paralympian someday," but you didn't realize that y'all were gonna be teammates together. Talk about kind of some of the what it's like, kind of being a mentor and getting into helping grow the sport in the ways that you're doing.
Yeah, the individual Kyle's talking about is Zach Mueller, who's the newest member, the youngest member of the team heading out to Tokyo, Japan. Backstory on him is that when I first moved out to Fort Wayne, Indiana, we decided to partner up with Turnstone to reach out to different potential athletes, potential guys and girls that have visual disabilities that want to get into the sport of goalball again or try it out for the first time in their life. So we had a Thursday night program that athletes went out to in Indianapolis, Indiana, to do things out at the Indianapolis School for the Blind for individuals that were out in that area. On Wednesday nights, we did a local Fort Wayne program for individuals of disabilities and stuff to be a part of at Turnstone. And the head coach at the time decided that I should be the right person to do that. And I was like, sure, I'd love to. And it turns out for Zach's situation, he wasn't even originally a part of that program at the time. His mom actually ran into one of the moms of an individual that was actually a part of that program, and she shared with her about goalball and so forth and so on. So it was kind of a godsend kind of thing or whatever, where it was just right place, right time, because Zach kind of lived the life that I lived, where he had low vision. He was in that spectrum of like, okay, he could play physically, but his vision would stop him to some extent, for some percentage physically and stuff. Emotionally, he was in it. Mentally, he was in it. But he would get discouraged when he couldn't excel to his highest ability because he couldn't find his niche. He couldn't find his place because of his low vision. So then all of a sudden, he came out to the Wednesday program. And there's this drill that I always like to do. It got taught to me back in the days with Tom Perigin when I first got into goalball. And now I took it upon myself to continue this drill to other goalball individuals, whether it be sighted or visually impaired, elementary, middle school, high school, college, whatever, you name it. So what it is basically you start off on the court in your defensive form. When I say left or right, that's the side that you dive. So if I say, okay, set, dive right, you hold it. You pop back up, I say left, you go that way, and so forth and so on. But then as time goes on, fatigue is happening mentally, emotionally, definitely physically. So now all of a sudden I start going a little faster. I'm like, dive left, dive right, dive left, dive right. Then I start going even faster. I'm like, left, up, right, up, left, up, right, up, left, up, right, up, blah, blah, blah. And I just go faster and faster and faster and faster. And by the end of it, everybody is so disoriented. They're laughing, they're complaining, they're just exhausted. They can't do it anymore.
Yep.
But you know what? For the first time ever that I did that drill where everybody falls apart, everybody except for somebody by the name of Zach Mueller. He did not stop. He kept going and going and going and going. And then you know who stopped first? Me, the one speaking. Because I was just shell-shocked. I was like, what? He broke me and I wasn't even doing it. And I'm like, so I looked at him and he just kind of stands up It's like, all right, what else you got for me? And I'm just like, congratulations. Someday, you're going to be a Paralympic athlete in goalball. Yes, I'm calling it right now. You will make the Paralympic team in goalball, not just because you succeeded in this drill, but because I know you have a desire to push yourself past your limits, to step completely out of your comfort zone in order to put yourself in the right position to be where you want to be. I love that. You're hungry, you're going to get fed. Every single Wednesday you come to this practice, I'm going to feed you new stuff every single time. And he kept coming and he kept coming. Then he started doing strength training with us. Then he started doing goalball practices with us. And then 5 years later, all of a sudden, I just remember like it was yesterday, after everybody found out who was on the team, all of a sudden I see Zach. It's like, what's up, man? He's like, it's like nothing, just celebrating. It's like, oh yeah? What you celebrating for? It's like, oh, it's because I made the team. It's like, yeah, I know. I got so pumped up. I was like, yes. I freaking called this 5 years ago, bro. 5 years ago. I'm sitting there thinking like, maybe it's going to be a team that when I'm retired and he's like the one continuing on. Never did I think it was going to be like a team that I'm on. So now it's like the coach, the mentor to the athlete and stuff like that or whatever. It's now going to Tokyo, the oldest guy on the team and the youngest guy on the team who are living the same lifestyles, looking for that one sport to excel themselves at, is going to Tokyo together.
Oh, man. Guys, I'm telling you, I mean, how can you not run through a brick wall for when Daryl Walker's firing you up like this, man? Oh, man. Seriously, bro. That is so awesome. Oh gosh, I love stories like that, man. But oh man, I could ask you just so many questions, but I think we've got a couple of fan questions, so I'm going to toss it over to our producer extraordinaire, Mr. Bill Kellick. Bill, do we have a couple of fan questions that are being dropped into the comments there?
Daryl, we have so many. You're going to have to go on and answer them yourself, but I'll pick out a few a few good ones here. First one from Dwayne Jones. He wants to know, how does your preparation differ from this year's training and preparations for Tokyo as compared to Rio?
Oh man, that's a great question. Shout out to Dwayne, man. Great guy from Tennessee and everything and stuff. I just saw him last weekend at the Nashville tournament and stuff. Yeah, I think this time around is completely different. For one, we have different coaches. Shout out to our head coaches, head coach Keith Young and assistant coach James Wallace. Just our entire mindset is different. I mean, now we have a sports psychologist, we have a dietitian, we have a facility that has been provided with areas for therapy, for like cold tubs, for muscle recovery. We have athletic trainers all the time, like not only just for like the USA men's team, but even for our residency program, we have an athletic trainer there all the time. I mean, I can't even explain in words how different it is, but the main thing I would say is different is that with this team, it's a brotherhood. We have a saying, we have a motto for our team, and that's team first, team last, team always. That's it. No matter who goes on that court, doesn't matter. We're supporting each other. We're brothers. We're family. We support each other. I could go into, again, in the past, I was kind of a selfish player. I wanted to be about me. Why wasn't I getting play time? Why wasn't I getting this opportunity? Blah, blah, blah. Now, just being able to be a part of this team is enough for me. I don't have anything to prove to myself. I don't have anything to prove to my teammates. I already have, just by showing love, by showing support, by showing understanding, by showing the desire to be better, not only just physically, but just being better morally, being better at communication, being better at supporting one another. And that's what it's about. And that's why I know 100% in my heart, we're going to be on the top of that podium stage. You know, the only team that's standing in our way is us, period. So this is by far the most positive, the most loving, and in my opinion, the most athletic that the USA men's program has ever put together. I'm so proud of it. So proud to be a part of it.
Great. Next one comes from Dan Toonen. He wants to know, as someone who hopes to expand goalball, what advice do you have for players to promote awareness and grow a program in their local areas?
I mean, it's just word of mouth. I mean, everybody nowadays is a social network. I mean, just throw it out there on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you know, YouTube, you know, just trying to connect with different people within the community as well as you know how. Go from school to school, rec centers, just put it out there, because odds are you may can go into a group of people at like maybe like the Boys and Girls Club, and you may thinking like, oh, there's no visual impaired person here. Not now, there's not, but maybe one of the kids' brother or sister is, or a cousin, or maybe they know someone who is, or maybe there might be an employee that works there that is, and stuff like that. You know, I did that one time just by going to Kroger. I was checking out in line and I noticed this guy was had low vision and stuff like that. So I introduced myself, and now he knows about Goalball. And it's up to him whether he wants to get more involved. But every single time I see him in Kroger, I drop that back in his ear, like, hey man, whenever you want to come out to Turnstone, man, let me know, and we'll go from there. So it's going to take time, because obviously it took us a long time to find Turnstone, you know, and now we have Turnstone, and now we've been a part of this thing with them for, you know, almost 6 years now and stuff. And it's definitely a blessing. But the possibilities of finding something to promote goalball, it's out there. You know, all the kids, all the adults are out there. It's just a matter of timing, just a matter of finding each other.
There's quite a few more. I'll just pick out one more, and this one must be asked because it comes from teammate Tyler Marin.
Oh boy.
He wants to know if your beard really does give you superhuman strength.
I knew he was going to ask that. Does my beard give me strength? Well,
not strength, Daryl. Superhuman strength. Come on.
Superhuman strength. Well, I guess all I got to say to that is it worked for Samson, and it also worked for Thor. So, yes, I do believe so. And just so you fans know, the reason why it's not just Tyler Marin, it's me, Tyler Marin. When he asked that question and stuff, whatever, it's because he's actually a clean-shaven face man himself. Not anymore. Now he has a goatee. Why does he have a goatee, you ask, and stuff, whatever? Because I think that gives him superpowers too. Because when we were in the 2016 Paralympic Games, he actually had a goatee the entire tournament. And it was just one game in particular. We were playing Brazil in the semifinal match. Brazil somehow, some way, threw the most penalties I have ever seen committed in a Paralympics ever. They committed 9 penalties. 9. And the best part was we were blocking these high balls and long balls thrown at us. But then the Tyler Marin, with his goatee, looking all pretty and fantastic, went 9 for 9 on all of those penalty shots and scored to help us go from being tied with Brazil 1-1 to finishing the game 10-1.
Oh,
I'm not saying the goatee did something, but until I see him put up such numbers without it, it is what it is.
Oh my gosh, man. I love it. I love it. So the moral of the story is goalball players, rock the goatee or rock the beard.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh man, Daryl. Oh man, we could go on. Shoot, man, we could go on forever. But let's dive into just a couple quick lightning round questions, just some quick hitters. Just some fun stuff. First and foremost, though, let's tell people what's your goal ball number.
Goal ball number is number 1.
Number 1. I you're a number 1 kind of guy. Yeah, I see
That's
that.
Right.
Love it. Now you said you guys got a dietitian and all of that now, and we know how dietitians could be. But when you guys are standing on top of that gold medal podium and it's time for that post-match treat, what's Daryl's poison? What is Daryl just looking forward to indulging in?
Man, honestly, the saddest thing is that usually when it's the Paralympics, it's usually at McDonald's, but they're no longer a part of the Paralympics and Olympics anymore. I can't even say that, man. That they pulled out for whatever reason. But while I'm there, I think I'm gonna get into some sushi.
Oh, okay.
Never had sushi, never had authentic sushi. Like, I want to have some sushi while I'm in Japan, but hey, I think I'm gonna save it for post games and stuff like that. Just because I'm the kind of guy where I like to be able to just eat stuff that my body's familiar with.
Yeah.
I don't want to risk anything, potentially get sick, yada yada. So at the end of the day, I'll do it after the game. So I think I'm gonna go for some sushi while I'm in Japan.
Well, I can tell you, I've been over to Japan a few times and had some sushi there. I think you'll enjoy it, my friend.
Awesome.
You have a favorite music genre, or do you have a favorite band or group that you follow?
Yes. Anybody who knows me, specifically the Fort Wayne, Indiana people, they all know that I'm a big fan of the Christian rapper known as NF.
Oh,
I love him. He is just fantastic. He just speaks to me, speaks to me directly and stuff like that. Primarily because, rap, they get pretty open with sharing whatever they like to share through profanity and stuff like that. But the thing about NF, as lyrically, as much of a lyrical genius as he is, he doesn't use profanity in any way. Any type of rappers on this new album called The Mixtape that have joined his album and everything and stuff that are those kind of rappers chose not to use profanity while they were on the same track with NF, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. But it's just, he talks about real life stuff, struggles that he struggled with himself and everything. Even though he's a rapper who's also a man of faith and stuff like that, he's not necessarily a gospel rapper per se or whatever. He's just someone that just speaks about God and Jesus in a different kind of way and stuff, whatever. And it really just touches me in a way to where that he's easily my favorite rapper of all time. But at the same time, if I'm not listening to NF, I also like listening to Skillet, Family Force 5, POD. All right. I got a few bands that I'm into from time to time, Breaking Benjamin.
Okay.
I get down. I even get down with some old school hip hop and stuff like that, going back to the the Heavy D and the Boys and all kind of stuff like that. I kind of reminisce from back in the days and everything, but mainly NF. Mainly I jam out to NF. All right.
Love it, bro. Love it. You dogs or cats person?
Growing up, I was 100% a dog person.
Okay.
But I was in a relationship in the past, and this particular cat kind of helped me overcome my fear and hesitancy with cats and everything. So Honestly, I'm kind of both at this point.
All right.
Still a little bit more towards the dog kind of thing or whatever.
Okay.
But if we all of a sudden want to get a cat, so be it, because cats are just like less maintenance to deal with cats. So just saying.
Good point. That's a good point, man. Coffee or tea?
Neither. I don't drink either one of them.
Okay.
I typically just drink water or orange juice. I'm a big fan of chocolate milk.
Okay.
Probably like hot cocoa and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
Those are typically my beverages of choice and everything and stuff. I mean, I love my root beer, but it has to be mug. I don't like the other brands and stuff, not the A&W or Bart's. It has to be mug. So
nice. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, big water drink and all that, but do you go for the sparkling or the plain water?
Plain.
Plain.
Can't deal with like sparkling. Just seems too strange. I don't know.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
But
You get your carbonation. You get your carbonation from the root beer, man.
Yeah, exactly. Teach their own.
I get you.
If people like that sparkling water, do your thing. I ain't hating. I'm just stating it's not my thing.
Love it. So, do you have when you're not, diving on the floor and whipping goal balls around and competing internationally, what's your non goal ball activity that you go to, or do you have a favorite non goal ball activity?
Oh, definitely. My favorite non-goal ball activity is probably yoga.
All right.
I've been doing yoga for the past 5 years now. Actually, it'll actually be 5 years come next month. Actually, yeah.
Oh wow! Awesome.
My teammate Matt Simpson got me into it and stuff. Whatever. August, leading into the Paralympics 2016, because I was having lower back pains and stuff like that, and it helped me overcome that, helped me overcome muscle soreness and so forth and so on. And now I use it as like a de-stressor. I use it as a decompression, a muscle relaxer, a physical relaxer, something that just helps me calm down most of the time and stuff like that or whatever. So it's very therapeutic for me, but it's also something that I actually teach on a regular basis as a yoga instructor. I've been doing that for almost a year now and stuff. And it's very enlightening, very fulfilling to be able to like help people discover who they are and who they can ultimately be just through the practice of yoga, of breathing, meditation, and even just the physical attributes of yoga. I'm very thankful that my teammate definitely encouraged me to get into it and stuff, because without that, I don't think I would be on the team right now. Yoga has helped me become not only stronger, but more flexible, more mobile, more agile, and more in control with my emotions and mental capabilities than I ever have in my entire life. So very, very, very thankful for yoga.
Awesome stuff, man. So I want to just give you, you've thrown out some amazing shout outs throughout the course, but if you want to revisit any of those or give any other special particular shout outs to, people or organizations or places that have helped you along your journey, go ahead and give your fans, give your people some love, man.
I would definitely love, first and foremost, and just most importantly, shout out to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I mean, it's my faith, it's my religion, it's my personal peace, it's my fortress of solitude. I mean, without the church, the gospel, I'd be lost. The family there, whether it be Hendricks Ward in Jacksonville, Florida, or First and Second Ward of Fort Wayne, Indiana, the missionaries of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, whenever they come over, I tell them about Goalball, and they're just so loving, so supportive, and they just want me to succeed and stuff like that. So just being able to just be a part of that, just being able to be a part of the church in general and stuff, whatever, it's just quite amazing. I mean, obviously I want to give a shout out to Tom Perigin, who's no longer with us here in mortality and stuff. You know, he passed away a few months back and everything and stuff. But without him, I mean, he was my first goalball coach. Not only for as a teenager, but also as an adult. He was the one that reached out to me to try out for the national team. So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. You know, Eddie Monroe, you know, that guy helped me train. You know, that guy saw something in me in the sport of goalball that no one else did. And he helped get me where I'm at to this day as well. So shout out to him. Once again, shout out to the Chick-fil-A family in Jacksonville, Florida. This is a place where like I literally worked there from 2015, December 2015. No, it was December of 2014 all the way to like October of 2015. I left for Fort Wayne, Indiana, came back after the Paralympics. I worked there for 3 months in fall of 2016. And then I came back in 2019 and worked there for another 6 months. They just allowed me to keep coming back there anytime I felt like. And they still say to this day, whenever you come back to Jacksonville, whenever that may be, just let us know. And there's always going to be a job here for you, man, because we just love you and support you and just love everything about you and stuff. So shout out to them. And I mean, I can go on and stuff like that. But I'll just make it brief, you know, just shout out to Turnstone for housing goalball. Shout out to USABA. Shout out to my mom, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews, all in Jacksonville, Florida. Miss you guys. Love you guys. Thank you for the support. And obviously just shout out to my team. Shout out to my team, you know, my teammates, Callahan Young, Tyler Marin, John Kusku, Zach Bueller, and Matt Simpson, and coaching staff, Keith Young, James Wallace, and then Adam McDowell. Like, I love you guys. You guys help me be the better side of me every single day. And first and also last but surely and stuff like that, Studio Saber, the studio where I actually teach yoga here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Giving me a job after I got my certification. Joni, thank you so much for that and stuff, and staff that works there and stuff. Love you guys tremendously. And lastly, my wife, Melissa Walker. She has been a beacon of light in my life since the day I met her, July 30th of 2019. And we got married on September 12th of 2020. And it's been about 10 months that we've been married now. And as soon as I get back from Tokyo, about a week later, we're going to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. And this is a woman that never judges me, accepts me for me, supports me for who I am. I could be at my ultimate lowest and she would never leave me. We can go broke and be homeless and she'll never leave me. You know, we can go to Tokyo, win gold, or take dead last, and she will still love me and not leave me. She is literally a fantastic woman. And I thank God every day for this woman to be in my life, because she could have been with anybody else in the world, especially somebody who can obviously see better than I can and stuff like that. But she chose to be with me. This woman knew she was meant to be married to me a month into us just talking as friends. This woman left everything. She left her job, she left her family, she left her friends, all to move out to Fort Wayne, Indiana, because she believed in her heart and felt that God was telling her she was supposed to be married to me. That is a lot of faith. And here we are, 10 months strong. And she helps me be the best version of me every single day. And I'm very thankful for it, very thankful from God that he's blessed me with the opportunity to be around such amazing people to help mold me into being the best version of me every single day. So
awesome. Awesome stuff, man. Well, let's as we wind down here, I just got 2 more questions for you. First and foremost, how can people follow your journey if you have any social media handles, let people know how they can keep up with Daryl Walker.
Yeah, I'm actually not really good when it comes to that stuff, whatever. I'm definitely getting better and everything and stuff. I make posts on Facebook all the time. I know I'm a part of the 100 Days to Tokyo challenge and everything and stuff. I'm actually going to be making some posts here recently, probably more than likely tonight. So be on the lookout for me, on Facebook and stuff. I know I'm going to be attaching things to my Twitter and my Instagram. I know my Twitter handle is Albino Warrior and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that. So I can get back into the flow of you following me as I go on my journey to my third Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. It's going to be a fantastic ride, man. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Awesome stuff, man. Awesome. Yeah, guys, go give Daryl a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those platforms. And finally, Daryl, I just got one more question for you. And that is, how do you want to be remembered?
I heard you ask Zach Mueller that question a couple weeks ago and everything. How do I want to be remembered? Honestly, I thought about it and everything, man. I just want to be remembered as the guy that always saw the potential in everybody else. Because, it took individuals like that to get me where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to choose to see the light in people that's there, because we all have that brightness. We all have that bright, shining light that's in every single last one of us and stuff. And sometimes it takes the right person or just a few people to help you see it too, to help you bring that out in yourself and everything. So I'm a man of faith. I'm a man of strong belief, strong morals and everything and stuff. But I truly just want to be remembered as just someone that believed in the next Zach Mueller. I believed in that kid, and it allowed him to have faith in himself. And then 5 years later, he's going to the same Paralympics that I'm going to on the same team with me. And I just want to be able to just continue to reach out to other Paralympic hopefuls, and not even just in the sport of goalball. It could be in track, it could be in swimming, it could be in judo, it could be in fencing. I don't care. At the end of the day, I just want to be able to help people, whether it be through yoga, through goalball, through sports, or even just talking with them through church, anything. Help them discover who they truly are. Because it's within each and every last one of us who we truly are. We just have to take it upon ourselves to listen right, to truly, 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 truly listen to that spirit within inside us. It's whispering to us, telling us who we are, giving us hints, let us know how to get what we got to get to be what we ultimately want to be. And just to know that the dream is there. And sometimes that dream could be something. For me, it was to be a basketball player, to be a professional athlete. But I wasn't. But I still am an elite athlete going to my third Paralympic Games in a sport that's not basketball, but it's still in a sport, So it could be anything, So just don't just believe that, like the saying goes, as one door closes, another one opens. But in my opinion, my belief, as one door closes, many doors will open, as long as you choose to listen right and follow the instructions that spirit, that light within you is telling you to do.
Man, guys, if you're not ready to, like I said, if you're not ready to run through a brick wall when Daryl Walker's talking, or if you're not ready to tune into Goalball, I don't know there's something messed up with you guys. Seriously, this guy's got me fired up. I am, I'll be over there in Tokyo, and I'm pretty ticked off that I don't get to, go and watch you guys play on the court there in person. But you can guarantee I'm going to be tuning in on every platform that I can to make sure I'm watching, guys like Daryl Walker, Tyler Marin, Matt Simpson, Zach Bueller, John Kusku, all those guys, and our women's team. Man, whew, I'm fired up for. We are just over a month away from the Paralympics getting started, and man, Daryl has fired me up, and I know he's fired a lot of you guys up as well. Oh man, Daryl, thanks so much for joining us today on the Blind Spot. You are definitely a blind athlete that has reached excellence. You're going to continue to reach excellence, and man, you're helping elevate others to whole new levels. And just thank you so much, mate. This has been an honor and a pleasure, and just a fun time. So thanks so much, man. I really appreciate your time.
Of course, brother. I appreciate you guys for inviting me once again.
Awesome stuff. All right, guys, we've come to the end of another Blind Spot. As always, be sure to hit those like buttons. Make sure to give all of us follows. USABA on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're putting out content left and right with our 45th anniversary. With as Daryl mentioned, with the 100 Days to Tokyo challenge. We've got so much stuff coming up, you guys. And we will be back next week. I think we're double dipping again next week, if I'm not mistaken, with Blind Spot interviews as we start to get into more and more of our Goalball athletes, learning more and more about each one of them. So we'll be back with you, I believe, on Tuesday, but we'll be sure to let you guys know the specific date and time here in the next couple of days. So thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Kyle Coon. Thanks again to Daryl Walker for joining us. Thanks to our producer extraordinaire, Bill Kellick. And thanks to all of you guys for just tuning in. So we'll see you next week. Take care.